The very first feature premiere for the MLB The Show 24 news cycle was on Thursday, and SDS dropped some hints, some things you might not have noticed about what's to come in storylines Season 2 in MLB The Show 24. For some of you, what we're about to talk about is not breaking new ground. You've got an eagle eye. You were able to pick up on these little intricacies through the very long feature premiere. However, if you didn't, I'm here to enlighten you about 17 things you might not have noticed. As always, obliterate that like button so we get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. Comment down below anything you think about the storylines for Season 2 of MLB The Show 24. And of course, if you're new here, this is your place for news, tips, opinions, interviews, all sorts of stuff about MLB The Show. So hit that subscribe button. All right, the first thing I want to point out, number one hidden thing, not really hidden. When I say hidden, guys, it's more of like things you might have just missed in conversation because it wasn't like flashing in front of you on the screen. But the first thing I want to point out is that talks between SDS and Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, began in 2020. It took almost 3 years to launch Season 1 of Storylines and get it off the ground. I think that's incredible. I mean, I know things like this don't happen quickly, but to really take the time for 3 years to make this work, that's impressive. The next thing we're going to talk about is about to grace the bottom of your screen, so stare towards the bottom of the screen. Work in progress. The gameplay isn't finished yet, at least so they say. We're only a month away, so I don't know how much more can be done, how much more can be optimized. However, it says it's a work in progress. The gameplay isn't done. What does that mean? It means stop complaining. I'm sick and tired of sitting in SDS Twitch chats. I really honestly just block them and hide them now because it's a really toxic, insane little community that happens over there. Better yourself. And for people who don't want to read it, also better yourself and just eliminate the Twitch chat. You don't need to subject yourself to so much stupidity. What's also about to pop up on your screen in the bottom left-hand corner is about hitter ratings. Ratings are not final. You can see it there at the bottom of the screen. Ratings are not final, but look on the left-hand side. Even though ratings are not final, that was number 3, by the way, let's take a look at number 4, Josh Gibson's ratings. He has 92 contact, 110 power, 84 vision. I heard some people potentially talking about on Twitter about, hey, maybe this means the power creep is back. Because if this is the first Josh Gibson card we're getting, there's no way this card's a 99. It's probably like an 87 or a 90 or something like that. Hitter ratings aren't final, sure, so these numbers might be literally meaningless. But what this does tell us is that he is just going to be a pure power hitter. He's going to have very good contact, but he is going to be leaning towards the power side. It gives you an idea of the archetype of these players. You maybe could have assumed that yourself, and that's fair, and that's also fine, but just pointing it out for you. That's my job. The fifth thing I want to talk about, maybe you might have tuned this out because there wasn't any gameplay on your screen, and I understand, but Ramon has a really interesting thing to say here about why they saved a guy like Josh Gibson and why they have continued to save others who might be really big names. Just listen to Ramon. He's the best. He says it better than I can. Save some heat. Ramon is a marketing genius. Expect more big names to come, maybe even as soon as the next wave of Season 2. You know we're getting 4 at launch, 3 after 2 weeks, and 3 more after another 2 weeks, so maybe we'll get another big name this year. We're about to talk about something that gets confirmed much later in the feature premiere, but I understand if you didn't stick around for the entire hour-and-a-half feature premiere. Right here, as we're looking at Buck Leonard, though, we are getting a first look at an upgraded Forbes Field. They took Forbes Field, it was like a shell as it was introduced this year, and they added the grandstand and bleachers in right field. It looks like they added some new textures to the outfield wall. The railings are red. They just did a lot of work here to make it a little more accurate. Left field's got the scoreboard. I'm a big fan. I think it looks phenomenal. Will I play here? Absolutely freaking not, but it looks better. Hidden thing you missed, number 7, it's again the stats. And again, not final, but look what you're looking at here. Contact 101, power 102, vision 93 for Buck Leonard. He is going to be a balanced hitter. And I don't mean balanced as in terms of hitter type. I mean balanced in that he's going to have great contact and great power. His swing looked absolutely electric. I'm excited for Buck Leonard, like very excited for Buck Leonard. It's right around here, this 48-minute mark of the video. If you want to go back and watch it, by the way, it is on YouTube, of course, archived. Buck might be the greatest fastball hitter ever, in the words of Bob Kendrick. And what does that mean? Expect him to have the dead red quirk, and that's going to make him very viable. The Henry Aaron portion of this feature premiere was actually probably my favorite, because we learned that Bob Kendrick's favorite player of all time and his boyhood idol was Hank Aaron. And there's so much joy in Bob's voice as he's talking about Hank Aaron. And I think that means, I mean, he takes so much time and attention to detail to all of these players, but I think the Hank Aaron storyline is going to be special. I think he is really going to dive in and tell an insane story about this man. The 10th thing that is hidden in this video that they did not bring up, they just need you to use your eyes. Remember in MLB The Show 23 how he got Jackie Robinson from the storylines mode? And Jackie Robinson's primary position was shortstop. We know Jackie primarily as a second baseman. We've seen him play first. We've seen him play left. He had a primary position of shortstop. We know sometimes these players have different positions in the Negro Leagues. Hank Aaron, Henry Aaron, as he's listed here, which I think is awesome, came up as a shortstop. We're going to have most likely, a primary shortstop, Henry Aaron. That is cool. And then hidden thing number 11 is, again, just look at his ratings. A lot of people didn't look at any of the stuff in the bottom left corner. They were just watching what was going on in the field. We know what type of hitter Henry Aaron is. It's not surprising, but he's going to be just balanced across the board. He's going to be loaded across the board. And if you like his swing, he'll be one of your favorite cards this year. As Bob Kendrick was talking about Toni Stone, the first woman to ever play in the Negro Leagues, there were 3. He mentioned the other 2 being Connie Morgan and Mamie Peanut Johnson. I would bet a considerable amount of money that by the time this partnership ends, which I was told is 5 years long, we will see both of those 2 other Trailblazers in the video game. Especially because, as they soon talk about, it took forever to build a woman's player model with accurate hair and facial features and the stud earrings, which was super cool. They're not going to spend all that time and then not use it again and again when they need to. Of course, facial features change, hair changes by person to person, but I think they're going to have the other 2 female players in there as well. At some point. Maybe not this year. Could be in the future. Hey everyone, sorry to interrupt this absolutely incredible video that you're watching, but I have something very exciting to tell you, and it is that we have new merch available. It's been a little while since I've hyped up the merch, but like I said, I'm super excited about this. It shows off the new logo, some new designs, some new things that you guys might not have thought you would have wanted. So let's go look at it. As you can see here on my merch store, we have a discount running. If you use code KDJ10 now through the end of February, you're getting 10% off your entire order. So now is the best time to stock up on some new gear. We've got t-shirts, stickers for sticking on things, hoodies for if you live in chilly places and want to keep your nipples all sorts of warm, notebooks if you enjoy writing things down. Of course, we still have the classic The Show the Podcast t-shirts. And lastly, my favorite piece of new merch, it is the embroidered firewood hoodie. This is stitched on. It is a piece of my logo that doesn't include kdjTV. It's just the bolt. It's just the bat. It looks crazy good. And it also appears on the left wrist. Come on now. So like I said, KDJ10 gets you 10% off now through the end of February, and the link to my merch store is always in the description. If you buy something, let me know. I'll blow you a kiss. All right, back to the content. And of course, as that video was just playing, we're going to backtrack really quickly to go look at the player ratings, the hitter ratings. She is a second baseman with max contact versus lefties. It looks like she has a nice swing. I think this is very cool. I'm excited to use Toni Stone and try her out. Players with this type of build, max contact, and I wish the power was a little higher, but max contact and like 80 to 85, 90 power. Those are some of my favorite cards to play with because usually their swing slaps. So I'm anxious to try Toni Stone and hit some tanks with Toni. The 14th thing you may have missed, especially if you didn't make it this long, but also because they did not explicitly say anything about these 4 photos right here. I think these are going to be the card arts for the Barrier Breakers card set. I don't think they're just designed this way for show. It would make no sense to me that they would have their art team create this for a 4-second snippet in a feature premiere. I am guessing, I am assuming, as I assume you all are as well, that this is what the cards are going to look like for the Barrier Breaker set. We don't know what they'll be rated. We don't know if this will be the first card of each player that we get. I haven't a clue, but I'm pretty positive this is the card art for the Barrier Breaker set. And it sounds like there will be probably just one new Negro League stadium in the game. That's the way Jared Schiff, the senior director of this entire program, that's how he put it. Maybe he misspoke. I don't know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting his words. But it sounded like, other than the additions and upgrades to Forbes Field, we will be getting Greenlee Field, which is where the Pittsburgh Crawfords played. And so Greenlee Field looks, I mean, it looks beautiful. Not saying I'll play there. Depends on the elevation. It depends on the dimensions. It depends on a lot. But short outfield walls, it looked cool with everything in the background. SDS does a very good job of making these stadiums look authentic to the time period. And so they got another one here with Greenlee Field. Number 16, there are going to be 10 new uniforms that you can use during your gameplay. 6 of them will be Homestead Grays uniforms. 4 of them will be Indianapolis Clowns uniforms. I didn't realize they had that many variants of them, but that's cool, and I'm anxious to see them. And then the very last thing I want to point out for everybody, this was actually confirmed on theshow.com when they announced Season 2 of Storylines earlier this week. All the legends from Season 1 of Storylines will be back this year. I want to point it out, and I want to bring it up because they saved it for like the very end of this feature premiere, and I still get comments on YouTube or people on Twitter asking, oh, but, you know, do we know if they're going to be back? Yes, they are. John Donaldson is still here to tear your heart out, as is Hank Thompson, Martin DeHigo. All these guys you fell in love using, they're all back. That's going to do it for the 17 things you might have missed / did not notice from Thursday's feature premiere. Maybe we'll do this again for the next feature premiere. Maybe we'll have more hard news to cover in the next feature premiere. There wasn't a lot of true news on Thursday. That's why we couldn't do like a full recap, but I kind of had fun doing these hidden things. I got to watch the video a little closer than I normally would. Again, make sure you like that video, comment down below what you're excited about for Season 2 of Storylines, and of course, hit that subscribe button. We're growing in MLB The Show 24, and you can help grow along with me. Love you guys. See you next time.